Prince Ali, yes it is he. Something, Ali Bob. Yep, that's him.
Man, why didn't they have you play the genie?
I'm not blue enough.
Yeah. So anyway, hi. Welcome to Drawing Conclusions. I'm Jessica.
Yes. I'm Josh.
And today we are reviewing Disney's live-action remake of Aladdin.
Yes.
Starring Will Smith.
Also yes.
As the genie. Mina Massoud as Aladdin. Naomi Scott as Jasmine. And Marwan Kansari as Jafar.
Yes.
So, Josh. Oh my gosh.
Josh, oh my gosh, it rhymes.
I apologize to everyone out there for his behavior and stupidity.
Thank you.
So, Josh, what did you think of this movie?
Going into this, watching the trailers, I really wanted to dislike this film because I really enjoyed the original animated cartoon starring Robin Williams. But you know what? I actually like this movie. Heaven help me, I like this movie. I thought it was good. I thought Will Smith, having to put his own spin on the genie character, did a really good job. He was charming. He was funny. He gave it a good performance. Really good. I really enjoyed it. The rest of the cast, Aladdin, Jasmine, Jafar in particular, I thought they were all really good.
Right.
And Guy Ritchie should be commended for doing a really nice job with this show. I mean, he's really known for a lot of, action style movies. Right. Very stylistic. And you could see his stamp on this film as well. Some definitely. Cinematography and set pieces. And there is action in this show.
Right. Yeah, I agree. You really could see Guy Ritchie's stamp on the way that the movie was filmed and the way that the action scenes were filmed, and even things that don't really suggest a lot of action, but just that were some stylized moments in the movie. I thought it was really good too. I was surprised. We had talked about this a lot before the movie came out.
Right.
We were really concerned. We both really loved the animated Aladdin from 1993. And
is that when that came out?
Yeah, we were old. So, and the trailers didn't look fabulous, honestly, for this movie. I was more optimistic than you were going into the film.
No.
But I still was very skeptical.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
I thought, again, like what you said, Will Smith did a great job as the genie, definitely put his own spin on it, brought his own vibe to it, which I thought was great, rather than trying to recreate what Robin Williams was. Nobody else can do that, so that was good. I thought one of the things that was really surprising to me, because I've never seen him in anything before, was how amazing Mina Massoud was as Aladdin. I thought he did a great job in that role. He was really a perfect fit for the character.
Yeah, he was very good. Naomi Scott was also very good as Jasmine.
And yes, she was. And what a beautiful voice she has. I thought, she's a spectacular singer.
Yeah.
Which I'm so glad because, the original cartoon, the singing voice of Jasmine is Lea Salonga, who's got in my opinion, is one of the best voices in the history of the world. And so that was one of the things that was disappointing to me about the live action Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Is that the singing wasn't as strong as in the animated version. And
no,
that was
not even.
The case here, I felt like the singing was good and strong and well done, and especially from Naomi Scott. She did really, really well. And her performance as Jasmine was really good.
Yeah.
I was very pleasantly surprised by this movie. Absolutely.
I not only think the cast did a great job, and the story was actually pretty well told. I didn't think it went on too long. Right. I was engaged. But the visuals of the show were pretty spectacular.
Yes.
The bright colors, the costumes were really phenomenal.
Yeah, the costumes were amazing.
The set pieces and action sequences were really cool and interesting. And the humor I thought was good. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, the thing that's hard with doing these remakes is you have to find some balance between adding something new, doing something different with it, and still being close enough to the original that people who love stay faithful to that, so that because people get angry when you don't, right? Like they get kind of
Dumbo
mad.
Anyone?
And so, but it's interesting because a lot of critics are knocking on this version of Aladdin for being too faithful to the original. But in terms of the people that are going to see the movie, the audience, that's what they want. They want it to be relatively faithful, but also do something, like bring some different flavor to it so that
Yeah.
it was a worthwhile endeavor. And I
Sure.
think that they did that.
I agree.
In this case.
I think this movie feels more fleshed out. The characters have a little bit more depth than they did, obviously, in the from the older animation
Right.
from way back when. And I think it was really cool. And, you know, going into this, I was very skeptical. I fully expected this movie to suck and hate it.
Right.
I didn't. And I'm surprised.
I also really liked the different take on Jafar. I liked learning a little bit more about him and his backstory. Not a ton. They don't delve too much into it.
Yeah, and that was a good
There's
choice.
not a ton of exposition, but there's enough there that you see it.
You can fill in the blanks,
And
for
you
sure.
definitely, the take on his character is much more intense, and like you just are like really feeling like this guy's a psychopath, rather than that kind of like slick.
Certainly power mad.
Right? Yeah, and it was a really good performance, really well done. I felt
agree.
Like
No,
I really
he
liked
was-
the interpretation of the character.
He was one of my favorite of the cast. I thought they all were great, but I really did like the portrayal of Jafar in this one.
Is there anything that you did not like about this movie?
Since it is longer than the animated feature, the original, they added stuff, like music included, which was the other thing. I actually did like the music for the most part in this show. There were a few of them, like some of the new musical numbers, one in particular, I won't say which, that just, it felt out of place, and I was not really, not that it was a bad song or poorly performed or anything like that. It just didn't kind of jive with the rest of the soundtrack.
Right.
That would be my one complaint.
Yeah, and that's my complaint too. I actually really like that song, but I don't like it for this movie. I felt like the style of the song and the music, it just didn't fit with the rest of the stuff that was originally,
It felt more poppy.
right,
Like
the Alan
more
Menken stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt definitely a lot more 2019 than 1993.
Yes.
And I think that they, I wish that they would have tried to adjust the musical style to more closely match what was happening to the rest of the rest of the movie, musically.
And I guess if I had one more complaint, it's a minor one that is just mostly me. Cave of Wonders. I really like that they animated the, cat's head in the original cartoon, and it moved and talked and stuff like that. This one it's just kind of a big opening. It still looks cool though, so it's
Yeah.
not really complaint. Just kind of like, oh, I wish they'd done that.
Yeah.
Why didn't they do that?
Yeah.
But what they did do was actually really nice, and we did see it in 3D, and the depth of field, especially for that sequence, was really cool.
I did feel like there were a couple of times in the movie where things felt maybe not totally smooth and a little clunky, but not anything major. There are no major complaints for me with this one at all. Mostly, I just was smiling and happy throughout the show, really engaged in what was going on, having a good time, and relieved, honestly, that I was enjoying the movie as much as I was. And my kids really want to see this, and so I'm especially relieved because I know I'm going to have to go see this another time or probably watch it on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm relieved that I enjoyed it because that means I won't have to sit there in agony as my children watch Aladdin in the future.
Yeah, right? No kidding. Not this again.
So, Josh, overall, what rating would you give this movie?
I would give this 4 magic carpet rides.
Out of how many?
Out of 5 magic carpet rides.
Okay, that's a pretty good score. I have to agree with that. I think, in terms of what this movie is, which is a family movie, very Disney, I think it hits all the marks that it needs to.
I agree.
And it's just a good time.
Yeah.
And there's some, good messages in there, heartwarming, so definitely worth a look.
Well, that was the other thing that I think is nice about this movie that they kept from the original, is they did keep the spirit of the core of the story right there, and so it's still relevant today as it was then, and I think that's important that they didn't try to turn it into something completely different.
Right.
So commend the filmmakers, Guy Ritchie and the cast, for doing a really good job on this movie.
Right. And this movie solves one of the mysteries of the original movie, which is how come nobody recognized Aladdin when he came into the city as Prince Ali
I know.
in the original cartoon.
You look the same.
They do address that in this movie, so a little bit of a spoiler there. But anyway, I thought it was really good. So Josh, tell us a little bit about this picture that you did to go with our review.
Well, doing the genie, of course. He's like the big, not the title character, but certainly one of the 3 main ones, and
he's kind of the scene stealer, right? He's
for
the
sure.
showstopper.
Oh,
the
for
genie.
sure. Yeah, and I do these pictures before we see the movie, so I kind of have and I try not to read up on them, and so I don't have as much to go on as far as like, oh, who's this, with all this interplay between the characters and scenes and set pieces. So my what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
Oh, reference material is limited. That's the word, reference. Anyway, so I did this in watercolor with a bit of colored pencil. I really like watercolor. It's fast. It blends and does really cool and semi-unpredictable things, and it's a lot of fun. So doing Will Smith as the genie, I thought would be a really good, picture poster for the show Aladdin.
Yeah, it's fun. Turned out nice.
Yeah,
I'm
pretty happy with this.
All right, so that is it for Drawing Conclusions Aladdin review. What should they do now, Joshua?
You should subscribe if you have not already.
Yes.
You should like this video if you haven't already. Share and comment.
Yes.
We like to hear from you guys, see what you think, and get a little dialogue going.
And if you're new to our channel or newish, check out some of our other videos. You'll have some options popping up here in a few seconds of things that you can go watch on our channel.
Also, check us out on Patreon. That helps keep the channel going.
Yep. Thanks.